The Snowmine recording was awesome. Aesthetically, their music is very atmospheric. It puts a lot of premium on reverbs, echoes. For a band that's sort of prioritizing like round sounds, I think my fear going into it was that there wouldn't be enough high end, but there was. Again, we got a whole mess of gear for this session.
We got some really amazing mics from AEA, a lot of nice outboard gear from Studio Logic Sound, which is made by Retro, and then another pair of mics from Telefunken.
The mics that we got from AEA were awesome. Usually ribbons are kind of dark. The AEAs that we got to use, especially that 44, was one of the most true-to-life sounding mics I've ever heard, actually. We also had this pair of C12s from Telefunken. Probably 90% of what you can hear in the high end, they came from those C12s. Between those ribbons and the C12s, it was a really fortuitous combination, not one we planned for. I would say that the elements that counterbalanced all that roundness was the use of our tack piano.
A couple ideas. Cal, you in there? Yeah. So Cal recommended that we maybe try this doubling the main synth part, the da 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 da, and put it in lower in the mix, and maybe apply some delay to it.
So that would start from the top then?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, here we go. Grayson's an amazing player, which is proven by the fact that he's playing a 110-year-old piano that's got thumbtacks pressed into all the hammers. It's not an easy thing to do.
How does that sound?
I tell you what, it's a big, in my opinion, this sonically is a huge missing link. It sort of made it so that we could bring in that track, you know, just to the point where we could just hear that texture, just where we felt something slightly sort of poking through. And it added this, like, you know, harmonic sparkle to things that was really was needed, actually.
So we have a bunch of paper lanterns from the private studio concert with Port St. Willow. And those guys took them and were just kind of like opening and closing them, squeezing them together. We had them set up in front of one of the Telefunken C12s, which was hitting our Gates SA39 limiter pretty hard. It's just kind of a really unnatural sound because it's so close and dry.
It's interesting that they have the sounds that they have, which are all generally those rolled off ethereal sounds. And yet, what we observed was that they were looking for every little item that they could possibly pick up and bang together and make some small, tiny little bright texture with, you know? It's kind of funny.
For vocals, we did a lot of really, really cool stuff. We ended up having Grayson sing into the R44, and that was run through a Pacifica preamp and the LA2A. And then we actually doubled his vocal track on the C12, which gave it a little bit more presence, a little bit more high-end detail.
You say you lost yourself, you wanna know why.
When we came to mixing the lead vocal, we set up our kind of stereo amp reverbs, but threw in a few new elements to the chain feeding them. We would send the vocal out through the space echo, and then that would feed a full tone trem pedal. So a lot of the ambience that was going on, if you just soloed it up, it would be like this super choppy, kind of like helicopter-y effect. Like kind of almost like when you sing into a fan or something.
If you think about it in terms of positive and negative space, if you're never revealing the negative space in a mix, then the ears assume there is none. That it is all positive space. It is all filled to the top. So having that tremolo, attacking everything at different stages, different phases, just kind of creates this almost like lattice work of, you know, almost like pockmarks. Especially given the fact that it's recorded separately on different elements of the mix. I mean, we want to find ourselves a really good tremolo pedal for the future, just for that purpose. a band of really good players, it's more rare for any individual within a band, let alone everybody in the band, being an exceptional player.
Everyone in that band is just very conscious of what they're doing, which is really awesome. On top of the fact that every element that they recorded was like exactly what the song needed or what the arrangement needed. It was kind of like everything was there for a reason.
It's cool when a band comes in and you have that to work with. I think that can go in a lot of different directions, They won't be making music like this a year from now. They won't be making music like that a year from then. But they'll always have like the quality of their playing at the core of it. And that's pretty unique in this day and age.